but I feel like we're on a different vibe today, so I shouldn't make fun of the recording in progress.
Wait, what are we on different vibes about?
Well, I mean, we're talking about some, we're going off,
Oh,
we're going
I
off
thought
on some trails. You know what I mean?
I took it relationally, like you and me are on different vibes. And I'm like, dude, we are
Oh no, we're still brother and sister, work, married, all that stuff. Yeah, you don't have to worry
okay,
about that
good.
ever.
That makes me
Yeah,
so happy. Okay. I feel so comforted now.
yeah.
Yeah. And like Jesse just talked about it. So we might as well get out of the gate. Today, we're talking about this missing persons case out of LA County. Her family is begging for her disappearance to be remembered and revisited. So that's the investigation and that we are diving into. They want to keep the investigation active. They want to know what happened to their loved one, Monica Jacinto Reza. First of all, Jesse, have you heard of this case before?
I have heard that is this related to the
Don't.
scientist?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was going to
yeah,
say don't
okay.
jump the shark, but yes,
No,
it
no,
is.
that's I'm
That's
not.
all you know.
I really don't have anything else to add to Shark Jump because that's all I know is that
Okay. Well,
yeah,
you know
there's
what? That's
weirdness going on.
actually, there's a little backstory because I love to, the last thing I do at night is I usually read or do a crossword puzzle. But before that, sometimes I'm not ready to unplug from the world. So I jump on YouTube and I watch hikers. This is how weird I am about hiking now. I am that person. I like to watch other people hiking a trail. And so I just randomly picked an episode where a guy was in LA County in the mountains and he was going to summit a trail. So I clicked on his video and I'm watching it. And then I realized, holy crap, he is following the steps of a woman that went missing on this trail. He's like trying to find out for himself where she could get lost in the trail. How does this story sound feasible? And he is doing the work, and it's two parts, and I've linked to it in the show notes. And that's how I came to know Monica Reza's story of going missing. He didn't even mention that she was one of the scientists until I think maybe at the end of part two, or it was in the comments, but he didn't approach it from that aspect at all. So that's how I got into this spider web of this case. It just kind of sucked me in because stuff, as you know, Jesse, stuff happens to me on the trail every now and again. And this felt like a synchronicity I had to follow.
I know, which is why I kept saying we need to do some stuff to like talk about stuff that goes on, on
The
trails
stuff.
and
It's
things, the things. Yeah.
the things, the haunted things. It's like the
The
veil beyond
unexplained.
the veil on the trail or
Yeah.
something like that. You had some catchy thing that I
Yeah.
totally messed up.
Beyond it. That's no, you did it right. Beyond
Beyond the
the
veil on the trail.
beyond the trail beyond the veil
The
is what I said.
trail
The
beyond the
trail
veil.
beyond the veil.
That is so good. So this is definitely a trail beyond the veil episode. Here's the scoop. So Monica Reza was a brilliant and very fit 60-year-old woman. In the early morning hours of June 22nd, 2025, so not even a year ago, she dropped off her car at the house of one of two hiking companions. These were people she knew from a yoga studio she went to. Not only did she go to it, reports are saying her friends are also saying that she was trying to learn how to teach yoga at this yoga studio. The three of them carpooled to a trailhead near Mount Waterman in the Angeles National Forest. So as a crow flies, the trail is about 30 miles from the city of Angels or Los Angeles. Monica, just know she was an avid hiker. She hiked every week at least. She might have been 60 years old, but she was lean and she was fit. And as the three ascended the summit, one of their companions, the only other female, decided to bail out. The elevation and aggressive climb didn't seem to agree with her. She told Monica and the male that she'd stick around the area and meet them on their descent. But that would be the last time that she saw Monica. About 9 a.m., Monica and the male summited Mount Waterman. The companion shared a photo of Monica there and another taken some feet down from there beside a lightning struck tree. That male was not in the photos that were released, and none with him on the summit were ever released to the public. Neither was his name. Curiously, the male took off at a jogging pace down the mountain, and Monica Reza followed closely behind. I say curiously because seasoned hikers said that the terrain on that part of the trail was too riddled with dead pine needles. It'd be slippery. It was too rocky and it was too steep to make jogging safe. But the metadata shows that the pace they traveled was a jog. I mean, a fast jog. Before they'd reached their other companion, remember, who was still waiting for them, the trail forked left and then right. And the male hiker told rescuers later that he signaled to Monica to take the right fork, and she waved in return to him, seeming to understand the instruction. Okay, put an asterisk on that. I have so many questions.
No, yeah, I'm
right?
with you.
Right.
I'm with
And
you.
here's where Monica Reza went missing. He looked back 10 or so minutes later, and Monica was no longer behind him. The male said he doubled back, calling for Monica, which their female friend, remember she's down below, could hear, but there was still no Monica. He looked around, he called out, and soon he met up with that female companion. Alarmed, they both kept looking, and soon, I think it was by luck, they encountered a group of 5 people, one of which was a regular volunteer for search and rescue. And by 11 a.m., they'd reported Monica missing to the authorities. Now, this search for her was serious right from the start. It was multi-county, multi-jurisdictional. They responded to this call in a big way. And soon people were combing the trail and that entire mountainside. There were search dogs enlisted, a helicopter with FLIR was used, and some special pixelated, I don't know what this tech is, but they could say the color of her shirt was red when she went missing, and they could identify all the red items on the mountain and start searching those hotspots.
Oh,
I know
interesting.
I had never heard of this before. What was weird is all the red items that they tracked down on those trails, they were Mylar balloons, no trace of Monica Reza. But the takeaway is there was an immediate response, which isn't always the case. And still, there was no sign of Monica. Okay, until the next day, because that's when some maybe 1,000 feet off of the trail, a dog discovered Monica's beanie, which is a knitted cap that her companion said had been tucked into her waistband. That would be the only physical trace found to date of Monica Reza. The search would go on for close to 8 days and was then called off. And just there's so much weirdness about this case that I am just dying to share with you. But do you have any questions about like that main bulk of information? Did I leave any holes for you?
Have you ever heard of this has been ongoing, and this was it for a while, and it was even back to an Art Bell thing, which that's been, over a decade ago or more, about all of the weird sort of disappearances that go on in like national parks and things.
Yeah.
This seems as strange as some of those stories that I had heard before.
You're right. And I know David Paulides is best known for covering those in his Missing 411 books and on YouTube. And I've linked to some of his videos because he actually did a video 2 weeks after Monica Reza went missing to give some basic facts. And so it's so weird. Now, some cases that Art Bell would cover involved strong, strange weather fronts coming in kind of unexpectedly. Mm-hmm. And this didn't happen in this situation. It was dry, it was warm. There wasn't anything like that. And the video I told you about that kind of captured me, he is literally hiking the trail all the way up to the summit, all the way down. And when I say a summit of a mountain, some people may think of like a big blanket of like, I don't know, evergreens and fog. This is LA County. So it's more like scrubby. There's scrub brush, there's boulders, there's a lot of dirt, and then there's some pine trees. It reminds me of some of the hiking
But you're
I've done in
not going to get
Colorado.
lost in like the deep
No,
woods in that sort of terrain because there is no deep woods up at that
exactly.
elevation. Yeah,
And
sure.
here, like, there's more to the case that I can share, but the first question that came up is when I was like assembling the 911, the information, the basic facts, Monica Reza 101. I was struck with the fact that the guy in front of her, who's never named, he's not in the pictures that have been released on the summit. He's supposed to be allegedly, one of the members of the yoga studio, maybe the one that has been a main instructor for her. He says he signaled right to her and she waved to acknowledge it. So he could visually see her at that point. And wouldn't he be able to visually, unless the trail dropped down severely right there, why couldn't he see that Monica? I would want to track my fellow hiker. First of all, if I'm hiking with someone, we're hiking together side by
Right.
side,
Of
and we go
course.
single file if people are coming past. Right, that's a
Mhm.
courtesy. Second of all, if I told them to go right and I'm worried that they're going to miss that fork, I'm tracking them visually. So it seems purposeful. Thirdly, what if, and I'm just saying, what if allegedly, I'm just going fiction mind here. What if he actually signaled left to her and left was not the right trail? It was like, would take you off a different part that would take you much further away. What if he signaled left because he had some sort of malice in his heart and then he went right? So he knew not to look because and then he kind of ducked out of the way. But even that doesn't make sense because she would
or
see
or he
him.
was wrong, or he was
Yeah.
distracted by his dumb phone, or there's a
Yeah.
hundred different things.
And he
The
didn't.
sun was in his eye. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Occam's razor.
Right.
What if looking back, he wished he had waited for her visually to indicate to go the right way, and he never did just because he was in such a hurry. Maybe he had to use the bathroom or something. He's jogging out.
Or he or how we don't always remember everything correctly. He was like, well, of course I signaled that direction because that's the
Yeah.
way the trail goes, but he actually signaled the wrong direction. My little theories here in no way are supposed to take away
Mine
from how
either.
just strange and weird this already
Same.
is,
We're just
because
trying to backfill
this
and trying
woman
to
sounds
explain.
like she was a
Okay.
she knew what
We'll
she was doing, and she
she
was like
yeah.
an experienced hiker,
She was a smart cookie. And we'll
Yeah.
get into the facts about her. But I told you that the search effort was huge. And Montrose search and rescue was part of that. And there was many counties that were involved. And even though I told you at like day 7 or day 8, the official rescue teams, they stopped, but teams kept searching for her. They were focusing on this steep, brush heavy Devil's Canyon area where the beanie was found. And that beanie was found roughly 1,000 feet from the trail. And some people were saying that suggested she might have gone southward, which doesn't make a lot of sense because that area is more dangerous. It's steeper and it has denser vegetation. It even has waterfalls. And during the search, that they had a searcher that went into distress and they had to have a helicopter rescue of one of the rescuers of all things. It's an ongoing mystery because of a couple reasons, many reasons. One is that there was this weird control situation of the actual search itself. David Paulides mentions this in his video. He's like, I've never seen a initial search so controlled as this. They weren't even posting maps of where people had searched. And he said that's a disservice to the families, as you can imagine, because maybe I can't imagine I could even sleep at night. I'd go out there every chance I got, between work hours to go
Right.
search for my mom or my stepmom or my aunt. And
Sure.
so you're supposed to have a map of showing where they've already searched so that you can go somewhere new and hopefully come across something. And they didn't offer that information
If anything, it would seems like it would make the people that are worried about the person, like it would give them a little comfort to
Yeah,
show that they're to have a
true.
visual representation that the search is ongoing.
Is ongoing, and you'd see all those like
Mm-hmm.
holes in that mountainside kind of filled in with boots on the ground
Right, of course.
evidence. You're exactly right. Nothing about this process would be a comfort to the family. They did not release the name of either of her companions. They never have. I actually have kind of, I mean, I think I found out the name of the female companion, and it's pretty scary, some of the connections I've made to this person. But I really, I can't air them here. It's not, it's salacious, it's dangerous.
You think maybe that uh, they're hiding something?
I think maybe they are. They're not even saying if she had a cell phone on her, Jesse. The authorities refused to confirm that she had a cell phone
Oh,
on her.
who would
And if it
ever go
pinged,
hiking without a phone?
I agree, and fully charged or mostly charged. And the whole thing's so weird. This is why I'm doing this case. I told you at the top, it was because family members were begging for this story to be staying in front and center in the public view so that the investigation stays active. One family member with the username of Claudia Vid Orietta 4078 wrote this in the comments on one YouTube video. She said this, quote, "Our family still hasn't received any news regarding Monica's whereabouts. I would like to keep her story going. We just like to have some closure regarding what happened to her. This whole thing doesn't make any sense, and we're not getting any response from the authorities. We would like more social media exposure. She's a beautiful woman and she deserves to be found," end quote. So you can see why this is our very first true crime together, Jesse. We
Yeah,
had to do
no.
this.
This is I mean, I'm sure you have a lot more to dig into with this,
I
but like
do.
it's already really strange.
I know. She left a message, this same person, Claudia Vid Orietta. She left a message in the comments on David Politis's video on the case that I told you he did 2 weeks later. And she wrote this: "Thank you so much for covering the story. She happens to be the stepmom of my niece and nephew. You bring up really good points. Thank you for keeping the story alive. Yes, it doesn't make sense about the hikers, but was more concerning to me is that we reached out to the detectives on the story and no one has reached out to us. I want to keep her story alive. She matters. Thank you for this," end quote. It just breaks your heart. But if you want to, I can give you some more facts about the
Of
case.
course, I want more
I'll
facts.
hit you.
I'm sure the listeners want more facts too.
It's not going to fill in the blanks. It's not like I get to have a nice summary at the end that tidies this up and we understand it all. I mean, I hope someday we do have answers. They headed up to Mount Waterman in the morning. It was Monica, a male and a female. So 3 people total, maybe friends. We don't know the name of those companions, like I said. But the female, she bailed after a little while. Over a mile, she went like a mile and a half, and she said it was too steep. She told them, "I'll catch you later." Sometime around 8:15, Monica and the male hit the summit. They take a couple of photos, and the only pictures released that I mentioned, they only include Monica. Then, after a rest and a drink of water, I assume, they head back down the trail to catch up with the female companion. The male companion said that later he was hiking maybe 30 feet ahead of Monica. Then he said maybe it was 30 yards. And then he said maybe 30 feet. He didn't know. And that's where he reached the fork in the trail I told you guys about.
There's a big difference between 30
I
feet and
know
30 yards.
that's one of the things that bothers me
30
so
feet's
much.
across like a big living room. You know what I mean? Like 30
Yes.
yards is like, a like a third of a football field.
It's a complete different thing. Now, people are speculating that maybe Monica stopped to pee behind a boulder. We don't know. And maybe he was trying to kind of cover up that fact. But hikers know sometimes on hours long hikes, you gotta go. When you gotta go, you gotta go, and you bury
Why
it
would
in.
you not like?
I don't know. Why wouldn't you disclose
Why
that?
wouldn't you just say that? You know, I mean, like,
And
The
he,
the poor woman's missing. Nobody cares if like she was peeing. You know what I mean?
nobody
Like,
cares
yeah,
that she had to pee
right.
in the
Yeah.
woods. Yeah. And I told you about the guy that I've linked to in the show notes that does the entire trek up and down the mountain. He even goes on a lot of these scrubby side paths, and he even goes down to where they found the knitted cap that was thought to be Monica's. And
Which could have
there's,
fallen out of her pocket, could have been blown by the wind, could have been
yep,
grabbed by a random animal and taken
yep.
there. You know, yeah, I
There's a
mean, there's,
million different things that
yeah,
could happen with it.
of
And
course.
there's a reason because there's like multiple things that a dog, a scent dog found it, and then he couldn't go any further. Well, that would make sense, right? He would smell her scent, but if it came on the wind, you wouldn't smell Monica's like track after that. So,
Exactly.
and I'm going to reiterate that this is not thick woods. It's scrubby, and there's lots of visual gaps between foliage and rocks to see someone you are hiking with from a distance.
This
And
is like one of
why
those
wouldn't
old,
you be
this is
tracking
like
them?
one of those old Star Trek episodes. Remember when
Yes,
they beam down to the planet?
that's
That's what
it.
it looks like. It's like rocks and like
Yes.
occasional like scrubs, you know, that because that's where they shot a lot of that stuff out there.
Yep, they sure did. So the male companion finally gets frustrated, meets up with the female, and they express concern about Monica. And then that's when they met up with the group of hikers and the real search began. So here's the intriguing information. And you talked about it at the top. You kind of teased it, and you were exactly right. Is Monica Reza's disappearance tied to the missing scientists we keep hearing about? I think the number is up to 13 scientists that have died or gone missing under
Aren't they
mysterious
all like around
circumstances.
Pasadena?
No, not all of them. Some are on the East Coast as well, but they're all
Oh,
connected
okay.
to,
But the California ones, right? They're
yeah,
all sort of
yeah, it's
Pasadena. Yeah.
JPL. It's
Uh-huh.
where Monica Reza worked.
We don't even have to get into the whole Jack Parsons and all that
No,
stuff too. That's always been weird over there.
it's
So,
always been
mhm.
spooky
Yep.
weirdness. So, third, we know, but maybe the listeners don't know. I don't know. Maybe they've been on vacation and off the grid, but that's been catching the attention of federal officials. The scientists have been going missing since 2023 until the present moment. Monica Reza was a scientist at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, so JPL. It's
Mhm.
associated with Caltech, which people need to know. And now my right ear is ringing. So that was interesting. She and two other coworkers, Michael David Hicks and Frank Maywald, are connected to the same lab, and they've gone missing and or
I've
died.
heard the Maywald name before. So
Yep.
yeah.
Monica herself was a brilliant material scientist, and she was an aerospace engineer. Before joining JPL, she worked for decades at Aerojet Rocketdyne, where she co invented a material, a nickel based super alloy called Mondalloy. And the Mond in that, the Mond is for Monica. It's taken from her name. I did do some research, and the other person that co-invented it with her, she passed away of cancer a few years ago, which is pretty sad. And her name was Dallas. Her first name was Dallas. So the Mon and the Dal, I'm assuming the
Gotcha.
Dal was for Dallas. This material, though, is a game changer. It was a game changer in the field of rocketry. Apparently, it meant that the US was no longer dependent on Russian built engines. Isn't that interesting? Because it was like impervious to heat. So it was very important to our nation's
Did
security.
they invent it? Not to take anything away from Monica and Dallas,
Yeah,
or
I don't know.
did
Or it,
it come from somewhere else and they
that's a
just sort of back engineered, figured it out?
asterisk on that because that's interesting. I'm going to assume that they invented it or they were inspired by maybe materials
I
they
mean,
were exposed to and got
they're
to
smart
see.
enough. They're smart enough to be manipulating it. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
not gonna land the helicopters on my front lawn and go, "Hey, we need you to come with us and help us develop the super material." Like I don't know what I'm not that smart.
That's such a good point. And that seems to be how a lot of this stuff has been rolling out. And that's why I think that they think if there's full disclosure about the UFO stuff, the public is going to go all pitchforks and, little torches and pitchforks, because it's like, that means we could have had clean energy, endless energy supply, abundance for everybody for at least 50 some years.
If
At
we would have just
least.
listened to Tesla, we would have had that. But whatever.
Yeah, and I live not far from where he did the test where he put the light bulbs in the ground
No,
and
yeah.
demonstrated it. Yeah, which I
Uh-huh.
cannot believe they haven't made hallowed ground and into a museum, but whatever. But the other name that might sound familiar to you, Jesse, is Major General William McCaslin. He was part of the funding apparatus, the person in charge of it for that Mondaloy material. So essentially, he was like the funding boss of her work initially. And he went missing. He went missing under weird, mysterious circumstances of his own.
Wait. The
Just at
general
2 months.
went missing?
Yes. Major General William McCaslin, he went missing, like, I think about 2 months after Monica. What happened, actually, I should just backfill this. A repairman came to their house in the morning. His wife went out briefly. Had an appointment to do something. And somewhere, maybe around noon, she returned and he was gone. Her husband was gone. His phone was there. His wallet was there at the house. Most of his most private personal items were there.
So
His
the not
trackable watch was
repairman got
there.
him.
I know. To me,
Mhm.
it's interesting. But then he took his gun in a holster and he went for a walk, and then he was never seen again. The only trace they found of Major General William McCaslin is a sweatshirt that said U.S. Air Force, and the family hasn't even confirmed if it's his.
If Monica was that smart, I'm not ruling out foreign agents snatched her on the trail. That could be like why all these people are disappearing.
Jesse, I have goosebumps because I cannot say what I found out about
I
one of the
mean, it
possible
makes sense.
companions.
I'm sure
Yep,
the North Koreans would like to talk to her. I'm sure the Russians would. I'm sure that, the list goes on.
it does go on. Well, and it does. I mean, McCaslin was this two-star general that had a master's and a PhD from MIT. Talk about being smart and extra. He was the one that oversaw Black projects, which included that material Mondaloy. So, right, it's like
Uh-huh.
it's part of our brain trust for our country, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, it's going to get
I
really
was
weird.
raised in the Cold War, baby. You know what I
So,
mean? Like,
yeah,
that's where my brain goes.
exactly. 4 days after Monica, and I have goosebumps all over my body right now. 4 days after she went missing, there is a memorial created for Monica on a site called Find a Grave. It's called her death a green burial. Do you know what a green burial is?
Is that where they you like turn into a tree, your ashes turn into a tree or whatever?
Yeah, essentially. So the 4 days, there's still helicopters in the air. And somebody puts up, by the name of Lillian, puts up a memorial for Monica on Find a Grave and says her burial is a green burial. And that's exactly what it is. It's laying you out in a forest and letting the elements just erode your body into the earth.
Okay, well that could be conjecture that she's on the trail somewhere and just some weirdo made that, or
Yeah.
that could be somebody jumped the gun on adding her to Find a Grave.
Yep. And since then, thank God for the internet that took screenshots and have it, because it's wiped. Like the memorial's wiped and Lillian wiped her account.
This is why we have to protect the Wayback Machine, everyone.
Yeah.
Donate to the archive.
Yeah, we sure do. So anyway, it's really creepy and I don't know what that means. I think that it could be somebody. Like there are people that are kind of obsessed with doing some like morbid, right? There's a fine line between being interested in true crime and trying to keep a story alive so that the investigation stays active. And then there's another thing about, I want to have my fingerprints on it. So I'm going to do this memorial. I don't know what it's going to be. But
Mm,
what's weird, there are so many other weird things. I just have to share a couple things. The Pacific Crest Trail, which I have covered extensively on my podcast, the subset Cascadia. The Pacific Crest Trail has lots of disappeared people or murdered people that occur almost every year. There's a situation. There's, predators that prey on some of these hikers that end up alone or separated from the group. And David Paulides always says, if you are hiking or traveling in a group, never be the last hiker. And he says it for that reason alone. I have to go back to this. She was friends enough with people in this group that she was hiking with to carpool with them. She left her car at one of their houses so that they could carpool up to the mountain together. Okay, so they took the photos at the summit. If there was something nefarious happening, wouldn't you, this is like, I know maybe you would take a photo at the summit. I have summited things and I've forgotten to take a photo, and I've seen other groups of people do it. So I've kind of gone, oh, maybe I should do it as well. But it could also be considered a timestamp, proof that I had nothing to do with this.
I would just like to throw in here that out of the two of us, Jen is the brave one. I don't do things like this. I don't go on trails and and dodge mountain lions and and maybe get the aliens or the North Koreans to snatch me. I don't do stuff like this.
After I told Doug about this case, he was like, "You're getting a personal beacon, Jen. You need to hike with a personal beacon besides my phone."
Yeah, me and Doug are on the same page here.
My podcast husband and my other husband.
Yeah, we're gonna get together and sit you down. Yeah, we're gonna have an intervention with you.
There's some other weird things that David Paulides brought up on the initial flyers I don't know who created the initial flyers, to be fair. I don't know if it was LA County sheriffs or what, but she was called at risk. Okay, so at risk is an odd thing to say. At risk means, did they know that she had a medical condition and she'd need her medicine by a certain, I think of my cat that's epileptic. He needs his medicine every 12 hours. Was it because of her age at 60 years old that she was considered at risk? Was she considered at risk because the alphabet agencies already were onto this and they were saying, no, it's at risk. She's intellectual property for the nation? I don't know. And like I mentioned, I think it is weird that they've never released the search records where they've gone. They've never released the names of the people that were with her. Richie Lives on YouTube. He claims that Monica is his mother. He commented on one of the David Paulides' videos, and his last name is Livs, Livz.
Wasn't that the other lady's name? Lives, the other one that posted? Wasn't she something Lives?
Oh, actually, Claudia. It was.
Yeah.
It could. That was in her name. I just thought it was Lives, like I live. But you're exactly right.
I didn't pick up on it until you just said it. The other person's name. I was like, okay, maybe they are all related.
Well, I think they are. So he commented on David Paulides' video, and he did give us some information that the authorities have yet to do. So I'm grateful to him. He said this. She had a cell phone, but it was an iPhone 12 or older, and there was no satellite on it. They pinged her phone, and metadata showed her location up the mountain. And that's what he told David Paulides. David Paulides encouraged him to reach out via email, and her last known location is 34.35035 degrees north by 7.96038 degrees west. For all of you out there that want to sleuth it down, I've got links to all of those. But what I want to get into next are the theories. And I know we started kind of teasing around with the theories because we can't help it, Jesse. We are fiction writers. We're like, we need to figure out where this plot
I've been on
goes.
this conspiracy stuff since I was born. Okay. So, I mean,
It's in your blood.
I can't turn that off on my, like the X Files came on and I was like, all right, Fox, sometimes you kind of act like an amateur a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've been on, no, I'm not kidding. No, I love that guy.
Okay, so here's some of the theories. Monica went off the trail. It was an accident and she fell off a ridgeline and she died. But why no phone pinging? Why?
Nah, I mean, I don't know enough about, but the phone could have been crushed in the fall or I don't know, but it seems like they should have been able to ping the phone
Yeah,
regardless. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what I thought too. The second theory is Monica was hurt or killed by one of her hiking companions, allegedly. I found out something about one of the two companions. And like I said, there's no way in hell I can say it in public, but it's concerning. What was she drawn out there and
I'm
led
pretty
the
sure
wrong way?
everybody can use their imagination and let their brains run wild then.
If the companions have nothing to fear from the process, I would encourage them to put their names out there. The onus is on them to put their names out there and to say, why didn't they join the search efforts after that first day
They could be back in North Korea for all we know. I don't know.
or wherever,
Or
or
wherever.
just
Yeah.
like busy covering up things here? Or, one of them is suing right now. That's the other reason why this person is like lawsuit happy. So this is all allegedly. I'm just like, come on.
Suing who?
Well, it's a different thing. It's a different lawsuit. I'll tell you off mic.
Don't get into it. Don't get
I
into it.
can't. No, because I don't want us to be sued, and I don't even want that name associated with it.
Hey, look, everyone, we don't know. We know nothing. Okay, about
we know
that.
nothing.
So
Yes.
yeah, we're not even conjecturing anything.
But let's think like a detective here. You summit, you take a photo, and then you choose to jog the descent. It's odd at the very least. Your legs are kind of shot. And what you're doing, because I've done this, folks, what you're doing is you're using the whole front side of your legs and you're trying to slow down yourself, which is so hard on your hamstrings.
I used to walk and run around the stadium in college and stuff. So I've done all that before. I know how that can hurt. We used to push pretty hard.
There's other reasons why people on the internet keep looking at the companions, because the male companion I told you about, the reports are that he got angry when the searchers started looking in certain routes and places. He got angry. He was like, I don't understand. Then there's the zoom out that we've been talking about, the missing scientists, people that work in aerospace or material science or nuclear engineering that have been dying or going missing under mysterious circumstances.
I don't believe that much in coincidences.
I don't either. Yeah, could it be an enemy of the United States that's systematically taking out our country's brain trust? Is there an X file about that kind of thing?
Yeah, totally.
And isn't there what is it called? The 3-body problem? What is it called?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I haven't watched it.
I'm still pissed off at those guys for screwing up the end of Game of Thrones, so I haven't watched it.
A lot of us, apparently.
I'm never gonna let that go.
You know what? This is a nice, happy, light tangent.
You guys burned me once. You know what I mean? You're not gonna do it again.
This is a happy tangent because I always wondered why everything imploded that last season. Did you?
I can tell you why.
Why?
I know why.
Tell me. Yes.
Okay.
Dish.
They were offered as much time as they needed because it was such a cash cow. They could have gone on for 3 more seasons if they needed it. Okay.
Yeah.
They were offered a Star Wars trilogy when everybody was getting offered Star Wars trilogies after Disney bought Star Wars. So they rushed the ending to wrap it up. And then the ending turned out to be so awful and destroyed all the goodwill Game of Thrones had built up over a decade, and immediately removed it from the cultural zeitgeist. They,
Did.
they never got their Star Wars movies.
Oh, that's karma.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
That's
So
like
whatever.
Hollywood karma.
Allegedly, dudes that made Game of Thrones.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. That was a happy segue, even though it's Game of Thrones. And I'm still like, me and Doug still are like, do you want to watch it again? It's like, no, it's too soon. We have to like rewrite the last episode. Maybe that's what AI is good for, Jesse. It can rewrite, produce a proper ending last season of Game of Thrones. Maybe the Clankers could be good for that.
I don't want. Let's just
Move on.
Yeah. Let's just keep our hopes on Night of the Seven Kingdoms and move on.
Well, speaking of keep our hopes up, this is my fourth theory, and it is this. And I am such a Pollyanna, but I'm just going to throw it out there. It's my what I'm calling Manhattan Project theory. It's that these scientists are being scooped up and taken away, relocated somewhere safe and secret to work on a top secret endeavor.
That's what I'm talking about. Has anybody ever watched Paradise? You know what I'm talking about? They're building the big underground city right now. They needed all these people.
But for all of us, I'm trying to hope that it's for something for all of us that'll help us. I'm such a Pollyanna.
They're not letting us into the underground city. We're
especially
fucked.
after this
episode. No. We don't get to go to the underground city.
Jesse, we need to each stock up on Pop-Tarts and canned goods, and I'll get dog food. What kind of dog food do your dogs eat? I'll have some here in Colorado.
My dogs aren't they're not fancy like that. They'll eat whatever. So
hey, okay.
Yeah.
Cooper's kind of fancy. His tummy's kind of fancy.
They like me to mix it up. I mix the flavors up.
How's Eddie doing? Is he still on his diet?
Yeah, Eddie and I have both. Eddie and I are both doing good. We've both lost some pounds, so we're good.
Hey, I'm so glad. I love that for you guys so much.
He's a good boy.
Of course, he's a good boy.
He motivates me to
to keep it like exercise. Yeah, get on the dumb bike. We always text each other and go, "Are you on the dumb treadmill and the dumb bike?" And I need to get on the dumb treadmill today because you hit me with a new episode of something that I got to listen to. But stop. We need to wrap up this one because we don't know the answers, right? I told you, I'm not teasing.
I like the last. I like the theory. I think that's what's going on.
The Manhattan Project theory.
Yeah, I like that because I mean,
me too.
They're just gone. They're nobodies. They're you know what I mean. Maybe the general too. I don't know.
Yeah. But the big thing that I am head to toe in goosebumps right now, I really want to say is, like others on that list, Monica Reza had a family. She had friends, coworkers. She's missed. The not knowing has got to elongate and aggravate the suffering of her loved ones. And my heart just goes out to them.
Yeah, this has got to be the absolute worst.
It has to be.
And I always feel for people who
grief is hard enough without
any closure.
Without closure. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I think about, deaths that I've suffered through, and it's like, it was hard enough being able to literally physically kiss the person and say goodbye.
Yeah, I know.
And not having that.
To not know the reason, or to not ultimately know what happened, or whether they're even gone.
Yeah.
You don't
know. Exactly. So that's it. That's
this lady could this lady could very well be alive somewhere, and
she could be.
And you know what? Honestly, for her, I hope she is. Okay.
Me too.
But
I mean, too. But her family, I wish that there was a way that if she was okay and this was a purposeful thing, that they had some indicator that she was still out there and okay, because this is it's fucking hell.
Yeah. It's
I wasn't going to cuss today, but it is.
Well, it's terrible.
It's awful.
Well, you knew I was going to anyway. So what is it?
I know, exactly. Well, if you
You
have
you
any, if
you can cut my F bomb out if you want to.
you're a bomb.
You should just bleep me, Like
Oh, we should get a little censor
we
beep.
should,
That'd be
yeah, we
so
should get
cute.
one of those bleeper things.
And then if we want it to be family friendly, when we have the intro music for Is AI the Devil, we go beep when,
Yeah,
Anna says fucking clunkers
yeah.
in her cute way.
I don't know if that's I think we would curse ourselves if we did that.
I
I don't
think
know.
so too.
Yeah.
I think Aramon would laugh in our
But
faces.
you could bleep me though if you wanted to.
Well, that's it for this week. And if I'm going to have links to everything in the show notes. Please feel free to share, to connect with us on Substack, to and also to connect with the authorities. If you know anything, anything, they need peace. We want to send this family
Yeah,
love.
please if you can help this situation in some way, please do.
Yeah. All right. Till next week, listeners, we love you. Stay safe on the damn trail or don't
Yeah,
hike like Jesse.
yeah, just be like me, don't hike. And or if you do, like yeah, avoid the veil of the trail or whatever I
The,
said.
the veil of the trail. Bye.